tried, we don't have an uniform legislative context, unfortunately, but the Romanian Parliament on 5 of March this year, 2024, ratified the International Labour Organization Convention on the Elimination of Violence and Harassment of Work, the Convention 190. And this is practically the first convention to set an international legal standards for preventing and combating violence and harassment in the world of work. These standards now have to be implemented also in Romania. So it's an important goal, and also it's a challenge for all the companies and institutions. Also, it's a major step in this field, because in Romania, even if we have laws of equal opportunities, 2020, or we have a legal base of laws, we didn't have a must. The companies, and that's why a lot of people, a lot of victims, they challenged these barriers of not feel protected by law. And also, it's not only the law, but the procedure, because now we have the law, but it's a challenge for the Romanian companies and institutions to implement it. So we are working at this right now. Romania, it's one of the countries that ratificate this convention. So there are a lot of countries before us that they are ratificating, as Italy or Spain or Belgium, and they ratificate this convention. Even now, there are some countries that they are behind us. So we try to uniform the legislative context, the standards of European Union. This convention invites all the member states to, it's an invitation for the member states, not obligation, but invites to promote, to prevent, and to implement the anti-harassment policies. Romania, it's working at this point, and it's one of the countries that are trying to find solutions in this field. And we hope that soon maybe will be more flexible and more transparent this procedure of implementation. The methodology that was adopted in October 2023 in Romania came with a lot of obligations and rights, even for employees and employers, and established a detailed framework for addressing and combating workplace harassment in both public and private sectors. It defines also measures, outline measures, terms, and sets procedure for complaints. One of the barrier and obstacle, it's that we are not informed and we are not trained and educated in this field. We don't know what does it mean, because we are speaking about the harassment. In my work, I met a lot of people who are playing with words, with terms, and they don't really know what they mean. So it's very important to know what means harassment, what means conflict, how we can, what's the difference between a conflict and harassment or discrimination, because they are interconnected. So it's very important for employers, this methodology, and also the law 167 to 2020 that appeared 4 years in Romania, and change also the civil code with the law 151 of 2020, introduced a lot of terms like discrimination, like harassment, but it's not enough, only the law, because I think that it's very important to be sensibilized and to be more aware. How can we be more aware about this? About a lot of workshops, trainings, the survey, you have to know what's happening in your company to know what solutions you have. I think it's very important because most 50% of the employees are affected. They work experience harassment, sexual harassment or moral harassment. Women more than men, but it's not a rule. Also, there are people with disabilities. I think it's very important to know that harassment, discrimination at work also affects people come from another categories, like they have another vulnerability, the criteria like ethnicity, nationality, disability, age, which also it's very important. Oriental, sexual, this also it's very important. We have a problem with the migrant people because the social economic they are changing, the context is different, like 2 years ago, 4 years ago, so the companies have to adapt. So I'm coming back now to this methodology who it's okay, it's very important that Romania transposes the directive and the convention, but it's very important now to come with a procedure. We have a guide. All the companies must have a guideline. All the companies must have implement a policy anti-harassment. I'm militating and I'm promoting and I'm try for many time for most of 4 or 5 years ago, I'm trying to explain these harassment policies. They are the key to prevent cases, harassment cases, because, and I want to explain here one thing, a lot of employers misunderstood the harassment laws, especially in Romania, because they thought that were like a punishment with fees, with the paying some sanctions because the employer does not take action of one of the measure. But these measures, these tools that the law is giving us now, they are the key to build this policy, anti-harassment policy. So when you are trying to resolve the problem in in the company and in the institution, this demonstrates that the employer, the person, the expert in equal opportunity, or because the employers must decide a person, they must name a person who, or a commission who in equal opportunities, who they are taking these complainings. And this is like it's very important because you try to give your best in internal, so you try to maintain and to build a well-being workplace. So as an employer, you have to be well informed and trained. Also the managers, also the directors of departments, HR departments, or they all have a very important role play in this. If you have a very strong policy, anti-policy, harassment policy, even if the victim have the right in Romania to go to the court, if you demonstrate that in the internal complaining, the company is trying her best to resolve your problem, the victim at the court can't, is not allowed to come against the employer. It's like very important. This methodology, it's practically, it's developing oblige the employer to develop an internal procedure for recruiting, selecting employees, and to try to maintain non-diversity and non-discrimination in workplace. So it's very important, the important tools that the guides this methodology 1970 of 2023 implements, oblige us to implement guidelines on preventing and combating moral or gender-based harassment tailored to the specific working conditions. Also, introduce into the internal regulation of the companies or institutions the provisions of Government Ordinance of 137 to 2000 on the prevention and punishment of all forms of discrimination, and also of the law 202 per 2022 on equal opportunities and equal treatment between men and women. Also, it's obliged for all the employers to inform and train all the employees in these terms of discrimination, harassment, by organizing workshops, trainings. It has to publish the methodology through all internal means of employees, communication, or information. So employers who fail to comply the government decision and to implement to prevent and combat moral or sexual harassment risk fines up to 200,000 plays. I think that it's okay. It's very important to have a register to note and to have a complaint system inside the company. The important thing is that when the employee knows his rights, must know also his obligations. Also the employee, also the employer, also the third parties. That also this is a very important thing, because the violence, the harassment at work can be also economic, online, that can affect in all ways. It's the cyber harassment. Also, you don't have to be physical in the place. So we have the law in Romanian law now. It was the newest law in this field, 69 of 2024, that appeared 2 months ago or something like that. So this also expands the workplace, what defines the workplace, and also the third parties, the collaboration, that all the parties that collaborators or all parties that are involved in a company procedure. The companies, when they failed in create and implement a strategy to address to this phenomenon of harassment, it's because till this law, it was because mentality and not able to adapt to the changes. Also, the latest geopolitical developments and the current unpredictable socio-economic context bring with them additional pressures in organization. The perception of business environment from the beginning of the year changed in the middle till to the middle now, because all the companies, what I'm observing from January to July, that more and more organizations included or try to include and in their harsher strategies, plans for transformation and adaptation to new realities, also law realities, but socio-economic realities, with clear objectives aimed and retain talented and productive employees, reorganizing and for increased efficiency and developing new skills to facilitate adaptation to changes. It would be ideal if these companies, through their leaders or managers, put more emphasis on the mental preparation of these terms. The managers should be aware that the changing ways of the profile of an employee, because now an employee, it's a diverse employee. Maybe I faced a lot of persons who were very in a traditional way, try to be more fixed, in term fixed. So you can't change. You have to open and to see the needs. What's the need of this company, and to try to solve it. It's not of course these measures and this law that we have now, this guide, this methodology that we have to implement in all the companies, it's a statement, it's a guideline, but each company has to find his proper way to implement it. Because depends if you are in a big city, in a small city, how many employees, what objective, what's the object of the company, what's the production. If you have more women, more persons with disability, if you have a problem of age. Also, I faced a lot of age conflicts and harassment between young workers and people with experience. I don't want to say, I try to avoid some terms. It's very important to put together the experience with new employees, with young employees. So in Romania, practical the moral harassment triggers the employer's civil or criminal liability depending on the gravity of specific case. Thus, an employer's permissive attitude towards harassment not only causes poor performance, loss of productivity, and damage to the company's name, but also it may also trigger the employer's legal liability, resulting in fines and compensations to the injured employee. This is a big disadvantage for the company. Also, the image of the company, it's affected because now we live in a diverse. We have to try to be open and to be more um, approached to the needs of the employees, but also trying to find a solution so uh, to be well-being for employer and for employees, because I it's a very important circle. We can't, because I had a lot of employees who come to me and say, yes, but we want a guideline, we want to, they're very revolted, because when you work with emotions, with abuse, with harassment, and with people who suffer, they, some of them, they just want revenge. The employer, sometimes I met also employers or who didn't know how to take the measures. They didn't know how to face, how to take action. It's not they didn't want to, but um, so we have to find a common purpose, which is our common goal. You have a productive environment when you take care of your employees. Of course, the employees and the employer, they all must know their rights, but also the obligations, because it's very important. This new methodology, but also the law 167 of 2020, of course, with their backgrounds in the international instruments, they also incriminate the victimization. So an employee who is harassed or is experience harassment is protected by law not to be again victim. Of course, they are not till now they were employees. The court, if I'm telling you, the court in Romania can oblige the employee if they demonstrate that the employer was a bad conduct and behavior, or didn't take the measures. Also, it's very important, if you are employer but you don't you're not harassing yourself, but maybe a manager, but you're not taking action or measures, that it's a obligation, a law, practically it's the right, it's this is very important to take action Also, the employer may be sanctioned by the court. The court can oblige the employer to take back or to pay the salary of the person who um, wasn't anymore to work, or to put it in the same place or in the same a position like before. But it's true that a lot of workers, they are afraid. A lot of employees are afraid. They are not. Most of them, they don't feel they are supported by the company. It's very important, and I want to insist about the role, okay, of the managers, but the company, the company. When I'm speaking the leaders. They have themselves to have a little to train in this way, so to give um uh, s- uh, uh, 80% of the employees who experienced harassment said that they don't feel secure at the workplace anymore, and they don't feel that something will be resolved. So they go, they don't stay anymore. So it's important to see the cause, not the effect. So the cause is that how even the law, for example, now it's incriminating the stress, the physical exhaustion. That this is also in the bullying or definition of harassment. But it's very important that um, um, the company must take some measures to implement the harassment policies by giving a clear message, clear informations to the employees, trainings with them, support them. You have a lot of employees in all the country but it's very important, so they can feel you with online videos, with messages, with 1 or 2 times a year, a big training in this way. So it's very important that because if you as employer are doing that, or leader, this is the line. We don't speak now about the law, what obliges us. We speak only about you as a leader, that you want a productive environment. If you want a productive environment, of course, we you can have a lot of person persons or employees with problems, but if you have a strong harassment policy of complainings, commission, if you try to deal, not yourself of course, by persons and specialists, this increase the well-being of the company. All the kind of measures, anti-stress measures for them, to make a lot of surveys to see their needs, to inform the law. The law nowadays in Romania obliges the employers to inform. It's not sufficient that you have a statement, because nobody reads it. You are obliged to inform them. How can you inform them? By workshops, educate them, making little some inform, and try to come in to prevent. It's very important. And if they see you, the line that you are working, and you are non-discrimination, of diversity, try to there are companies in Romania that they have a very beautiful, they experience some negative uh, 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 they had some negative examples, or they have some negative experience, but they learned. And it's very important also of each case that we have in our company to learn what we can improve. Maybe we had that thing, that the lack of communication. The communication is very important. The attitude is very important. You are an example. So go as a manager, as a leader, to go by your power, the power of example, of your own example. So if you want to be to live in a respectful environment, you have to respect yourself and the others. So from this uh, point, step by step, you can build something. If not, it's very difficult, because I had in my courses, I have persons who come and they specialize, but they don't have the support of the leader of the company. They pay their course, they come, but they don't have. And I recognize it's difficult if you don't, if you are not aware as a leader that and also this, if you build a productive a non-conflict environment, you can be more productive. An employee who is working in a more relaxed, in a relaxed field, and not stressed and not harassed, not is coming at work with no fear, he can work in 1 hour what usually with fear or stress or nervous, he can work in 2 days. So this is also very important, to try to step back one and to figure out what changes before. Of course, we are speaking about the procedures, the law, but the procedure itself also, it has to be very much aware of the attitude of the managers. They must be trained, they must be very well trained in this, of course with the support of the leader. If not, to implement the anti-harassment policy. And to speak about the anti-harassment policy, we need some days. But it's very important to be aware and to take um, all the tools in consideration, because the law now permits us and gave us the legal. Of course, a lot of things must be improved and have to be improved also, but I experience also good examples from Romania companies who are very hardworking in implementing the diversity, non-discrimination at work, trying to employ young people with disability. They are more aware of the needs of employees.